county board, for 4 years. I'm finishing my first term on the county board. We've accomplished quite a lot since I've been on the county board. We were, I think, the first government in captivity not to take the cost of living increase, and that's allowed every year under the tax cap legislation, and we've continued to do that every year. And I don't think any other government in the whole state can say that, at least not one that I'm aware of. We have reduced our budget by 10%, which is a savings of over $20 million a year. Not taking the cost of living increase has already saved the taxpayers $10 million, and that's a permanent savings because you can't go back and change it later on. And so what I'm looking forward to doing, and with all that, we've kept our AAA bond rating, and we get financial awards every year. So, and last year I zeroed out the Valley High tax levy for a 1-year period. This year we're looking to do that again and make that a permanent reduction so that Valley High would live off of the surplus that they have at $20 million over and above the anticipated capital expenditure needs. So at the rate at which their annual deficit is, it would take a minimum of 20 years, maybe 30 or 40 years even, to go through that. And at that point, we can put a referendum up to the voters, and they can decide if they still want to have the county run a nursing facility or if they want to privatize. I think referendums like that should have sunsets on them anyway. We have some referendums for things like mental health board and conservation district that have been passed way in the past, and they just keep going. So I think having some way of having that reviewed is a good thing. So I'm running for county board chairman because I want to further that process. I want us to continue to make cuts in a responsible way. I also am very interested in the idea of trying to develop a new model for future development that's going to be coming into the county. Even though we're in a slow period right now, that's not going to last. We're very well situated to pick up new growth. And the models that we've used for growth in the past haven't worked out well. They've wound up driving up the tax rates because the residential development doesn't pay for itself. And what we did is we loaded the place up with retail and residential, and we wound up with now we're having to expand Randall Road because of all the cars. So I'd like us to focus more on commercial industrial development, less on residential, and use some of the new models, new urbanism type models, where we focus the residential development in and around the existing municipalities and historic town centers where there's facilities already in place and infrastructure, and you're not spending as much money to to locate something out in the middle of the country someplace, and now you've got more costs involved in trying to service that. You've got problems with the roads and everything else. So I want to try to embrace that as a new model of development. We tried to do that on the Planning Commission that I was on, and we didn't get that land use plan approved by a very narrow vote. So I'm looking forward to being able to help appoint the members of the new Planning Commission that's going to do the 2040 plan and try to revisit some of those concepts and see if we can be a leader in the whole nation in terms of how we approach development and keep everything in balance, and keep our open spaces and our agricultural community intact in the face of these changes that we're going to be seeing.